We are obviously in the midst of a sea change in America. There's a tremendous amount going on. It's all of a kind, and it's alarming. I won't sugarcoat it for you. It's alarming. And so we'll get into the Kimmel stuff. We'll get into the censorship. We'll get into, as usual, the subplot, which you're not hearing a lot about, which may very much inform much of what happened with Jimmy Kimmel. But we will get to it. The subplot is very much in keeping with what we were seeing and what I predicted, and now you're seeing it happen. What did I tell you about TikTok? Said that Larry Ellison is going to get TikTok along with a small consortium of other tech bros, sort of the billionaires boys club, and they, particularly in the form of Ellison, will create a massive media company, as Ellison wants Warner Brothers. He wants the entire package, which includes CNN and this immense media empire. That's a big deal because there is a part of that sort of thing going on with the Jimmy Kimmel conversation and what happened to Jimmy. Now, I'll tell you, I adore Jimmy Kimmel. To me, Jimmy Kimmel is incredibly funny, incredibly inventive, incredibly smart about the ways he's gone after government generally. It wasn't just Trump. When Biden was president, he did great stuff with that. To me, Jimmy Kimmel is the genius of late night. And so I know there was a lot of Colbert, and I get that maybe this audience is super Colbert. It doesn't matter. It's not like it's the old thing. Like when people ask, do you like dogs or do you like cats? Well, why do I have to pick one or the other? Aren't they, both wonderful creatures that I enjoy sharing my home with? And I kind of feel that way about Colbert and Kimmel. But I must tell you, to me, Kimmel was appointment viewing. I never missed a Kimmel show, and that's been the way it's been for years. It's so I'm both angered about this and about the silencing of Jimmy, but I'm also very concerned about the broader issues for America and for American discourse and for public comments like the one that I'm making right now, and about all the ways in which you interact on social media. Your Facebook, your Twitter, etc. Obviously, this is something that has implications for all those things. So this is true. I'm seeing, Jimmy's my favorite of the late night shows, somebody says. Kimmel and Colbert kept my sanity through all of this. I watched Kimmel's show on Monday night. Didn't seem like he said anything controversial, says John Watson. So we made a decision. And here's the decision that we made. We could talk around and read quotes of what Jimmy said, and we could talk about what the FCC commissioner said, and we could read you quotes, and obviously I would try to bring that stuff to life to you as much as I could, because typically we cannot run things that are proprietary content like the late night stuff from ABC. We'd have this problem with Saturday Night Live, and then that's the reason it's very hard for us as YouTube creators to, share that stuff with you, because it'll immediately end up with us being demonetized. We will no longer be able to gain any income from that show. And of course, the revenues from the show are what sustain us. But today we're going to run it, and we're just not going to make any money on this show. And so thank you for the super chat. Hula Steph for $20. We will keep all the super chat money and super sticker money. That does stay with us, but any kind of monetization apart from that, we don't get. I can't believe how furious I am about Kimmel's firing, says Hula Steph. You go, MTS channel. Don't let Trump silence you. I mean, I must tell you, the government is a very powerful entity. The government can silence anyone they want. The Kimmel example is a great one because you see the ways in which the government leverages power. Jimmy Kimmel didn't get taken off the air for anything he said about Charlie Kirk. You know that, right? I'm going to show you the clip in a second.
No.
I'm not saying, you can be super sensitive about the Charlie Kirk thing. We have decried it here. It was a murderous, horrible act. And Charlie Kirk deserves to be alive. But they didn't silence Jimmy Kimmel for anything he said about Charlie Kirk. They silenced him because he made fun of the president. That's why he was silenced. It's that simple. He has been an irritant to Donald Trump for years. And to call it just an irritant is to be polite.
Mm-hmm.
Kimmel has been in the crosshairs for the administration for years. So the standards by which so much speech is permitted in America don't apply to someone who is that big a target for this president and this regime. Albert, show everyone, and we'll just let it run, as I say. This is what Jimmy Kimmel said. We'll let it run. I'm going to let it breathe so you can really get a sense of it in context. Go ahead.
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it. In between the finger pointing, there was grieving. On Friday, the White House flew the flags at half staff, which got some criticism. But on a human level, you can see how hard the president is taking this.
My condolences on the loss of your friend Charlie Kirk. May I ask, sir, personally, how are you holding up over the last day and a half, sir?
I think very good. And by the way, right there, you see all the trucks. They've just started construction of the new ballroom for the White House, which is something they've been trying to get, as you know, for about 150 years. And it's going to be a beauty.
Yes. Okay. He's at the fourth stage of grief, construction. It's demolition, construction. This is not how an adult grieves the murder of someone he called a friend. This is how a 4-year-old mourns a goldfish, okay? And it didn't just happen once.
When I heard it, I was in the midst of, building a great, for 150 years, they've wanted a ballroom at the White House, right? They don't have a ballroom. They have to use tents on the lawn for President Xi when he comes over. If it rains, it's a wipeout. And so I was with the architects that would design. It's going to be incredible. And they came in, they said, Charlie Kirk is dead. I didn't know what they meant. I said, he was dead. Charlie Kirk was shot. And they thought he was dead because it was so horrific, Mm-hmm. And I said, dead.
And then we installed the most beautiful chandelier. Sconces you wouldn't believe. There's something wrong with them. There really is. I mean,
and so you like then that? In that moment, you hear the real object of derision there is the president's reaction. Offered a platform, the president pivoted quickly to the construction, and that became the joke. The fourth stage of grief, construction.
He never made fun of Charlie Kirk's death. He made fun of the president's reaction to it. As a matter of fact, last week on his show, Kimmel said that Kirk's murder was senseless. The day of Kirk's murder, he posted a message on Instagram sending love to Kirk's family and all victims of gun violence. So when you talk about people that, did the dances and the celebration, that's not what Kimmel did at all. He made fun of Trump's reaction, not anything having to do with senseless political violence. He decried that.
Thank you, because that's exactly right. Kimmel has so much heart. I don't know if you've watched Kimmel through the years, any of you, but the reality is that Kimmel has been an articulate and passionate spokesperson for the lack of health care in this country for those who don't have money. When his son needed heart surgery, he became emotional, choked up, wept on the air about the fact that, of course, he'd just been through this incredibly emotional operation for his newborn son, for his very young son. And he said, we have the means to help our son, but there's so many in the same situation that don't have those means. That's who Jimmy Kimmel is. He's someone with tremendous emotion, heart, and empathy. And so he's a late night comic. Of course, he skewers power. Skewering the powerful is a rich tradition in late night comedy. Kimmel is just the latest iteration of it. And in my judgment, the most creative iteration of it. He's so funny, so inventive. Most of the stuff he does on the show has nothing to do with Trump. But he is out there on the limb, which is what makes the comedy so funny. It's daring, but it's certainly covered by free speech rights. It's certainly covered by the First Amendment. You can go all the way back to Johnny Carson. Johnny Carson used to skewer everybody, all the presidents, during his time in late night television. I mean, as I say, it's a time-honored tradition. So this is outrageous, and we will pull away the layers of the onion, to use the oft-used expression, but we'll pull away, I think, a lot of the backstory here. But the key thing when it comes to Kimmel is that Jimmy Kimmel hasn't been censored by this regime for the comments about Charlie Kirk. He is censored because of his comments about Donald Trump. The jokes about Trump really got to him. You know, Trump responded the same way to Saturday Night Live, really angry, running down Saturday Night Live. It was during the first Trump administration. And bad ratings, show's not funny anymore. People say the show's not funny anymore because, remember, Alec Baldwin was doing the Donald Trump impression. So this stuff does get to Donald Trump. And Jimmy's stuff is funny, really funny. And as a result, Donald Trump, who's the butt of the joke, can't take it. We know he's thin-skinned. So I want to quickly recognize some people who are into the super chat, because you guys are supporting us today, since this is a show that'll be demonetized because of the running of that clip. But a Trevor star in Hollywood says, breaking fake news, Trump's statement. First it was Stanley Colbert, now it's Johnny Kimmel. Many people are saying squeaky voice Mark Thompson will be next. He's got great hair, but he's got to go. He's got to go, says Donald J. Trump. Well, I'll tell you, I mean, thanks for the super chat. I'd be lying to you if I didn't tell you I'm worried about this channel and all channels that represent anything. And again, a lot of the stuff we do doesn't have anything to do with Donald Trump, but you worry about anything that you said that in any way arouses the ire or shows up on the radar of the most powerful. Gwen Roberts, thank you for a $10 super chat. Yeah.
Suddenly I have this, I feel like I've just been living in this naive bubble all this time, thinking that we had a constitution and a right to free speech, and this could never happen here. Never.
Let me explain a little bit of how it happened, because I think the how is truly instructive, because this isn't over. We just played for you the clip in question. You could see Charlie Kirk wasn't in any way derided. He was in no way criticized. And as Kim says, Kimmel's actually quite sympathetic and empathetic, sending those messages of grief to the Charlie Kirk family. This is last week, or this is the week prior to this show even. So he was a part of the mourning for Charlie Kirk, if you will, or recognizing the true tragedy of the murder of Charlie Kirk. That's what Jimmy Kimmel was doing. But when it came to the reaction, the Trump reaction was so odd that it just invited being skewered. And that's what Jimmy did. But now to the cancellation. Now to the censoring of Jimmy Kimmel. The FCC commissioner goes on Benny Johnson's podcast And the FCC commissioner, someone who has been oddly a champion of First Amendment free speech rights in America prior to all of this. He himself, I think, a podcaster. You know, the Trump administration has all these people who were podcasters before this, right? So he's no stranger to this format. And here he is joining Benny Johnson, who's a right-wing host, on his podcast talking about what we've just seen. Go ahead, Albert.
When you look at the conduct that has taken place by Jimmy Kimmel, it appears to be some of the sickest conduct possible. As you've indicated, there are avenues here for the FCC. So there are some ways in which I need to be a little bit careful, because we could be called ultimately to be a judge on some of these claims that come up. But I don't think this is an isolated incident. I mean, you go back to Representative Swalwell, and he had a tweet out last week where he was saying that, emphasizing that Charlie Kirk's killer was a straight white male from a Republican family that voted for Donald Trump. In some quarters, there's a very concerted effort to try to lie to the American people about the nature, as you indicate, of one of the most significant, newsworthy public interest acts that we've seen in a long time.
Stop for a second, Albert, and I'll continue here in a second. There was, to be fair, an effort from both sides early, right away, because this is the new America, to say that guy was a lefty. Remember, President Trump, within an hour, we had no idea of this guy's history, the guy who murdered Charlie Kirk. Like, President Trump, within an hour, had the word out. It's the radical left. That's the problem. Political violence, the radical left. And then you had the left saying, look, he's from a MAGA family. You can tell he's MAGA. He's right wing. So both sides were trying to build their narrative to serve political ends. That is true. As I say, that's the new America. As it turns out, probably both were true. He's from a MAGA family, but angry about, and again, it's still all being pieced together, angry about the posture toward trans rights, to the LGBTQ plus community. Oddly, this kid from a MAGA family grew up around guns, had access to guns. He then, from now a left perspective, again, politically left, offended by the president's and this government's view toward the community that he now felt closely aligned with, he murdered Charlie Kirk. So in the early moments, it was, is it right? Is it left? Both trying to claim he's a lefty, he's a radical, of course, it's MAGA. It's somebody who's even farther right than MAGA. So that was what the FCC commissioner is talking about. Get back to him. Go back to Carr.
Appears to be an action by Jimmy Kimmel to play into that narrative that this was somehow a MAGA or Republican motivated person. If that's what happened here.
Stop again. Sorry, again. And what I just played it for you. No, Kimmel said that MAGA is trying to blame the left. They're trying to blame the left for this. They don't want to claim this guy in any way. That was what he said. Again, that was in the hours, days of the beginnings of the investigation. Both sides were doing this. It's probably wrong to do, right? It was wrong for either side to claim it. But Jimmy's not wrong. I mean, MAGA was saying it's a lefty, right? They're trying to claim one thing. And the left is saying it's a MAGA guy. Look, it's family. So that's what was happening there. So when he's talking about it in this way, it really denies a legitimate context to the conversation. Okay.
That is really, really sick. And I've been very clear from the moment that I have become chairman of the FCC, I want to reinvigorate the public interest. And what people don't understand is that the broadcasters, and you've gotten this right, are entirely different than people that use other forms of communication. They have a license granted by us at the FCC, and that comes with it an obligation to operate in the public interest. And we can get into some ways that we've been trying to reinvigorate the public interest, and some changes that we've seen. But frankly, when you see stuff like this, I mean, look, we can do this the easy way or the hard way. These companies can find ways to change conduct and take action, frankly, on Kimmel, or there's going to be additional work for the FCC ahead.
What kind of
This
action
is
would you
huge.
see?
And then we're going to continue with it. But this is huge what he just said. It's going.
We can
We're
do
going
it
to
the
continue.
easy way or the hard way.
We can do it the easy way or the hard way. Now, again, you're always, as a private company or a public company in the case of Disney, but you know what I mean, as a company not run by the government, you're able to make any decisions you want about who's on your air, about the kind of shows that are on your air. You can run all LGBTQ plus shows if you want. You can run all right-wing cis white male shows if you want. I mean, it really is up to what they feel is commercially viable or on brand for them. So when he talks about conduct, this is a commercial enterprise. The public airwaves there's certain responsibilities. That's why the FCC has control over them. But apart from that, it's really up to the creators there at Disney to put on whatever show they feel is, as I say, commercially viable. Now you're going to see it pivot. When he talks about we can do this the easy way or the hard way, what he's suggesting is the government may now get involved in content, in what you're doing and who the personality is that you're putting on the air. But the way that he suggests, and what you're going to see now, is the way he lays out what the FCC will likely do, or what could be done by a station group, which is exactly what happened. Sinclair and the Nexstar stations, they own tons of stations in America. He's suggesting they could take action against the network and decide not to run Jimmy Kimmel anymore. So this is the FCC chairman saying this stuff. Go ahead, Albert.
To have an on-air apology from Jimmy Kimmel to the Kirk family, to all of those who he slandered, because he did say that Charlie Kirk, he is effectively saying that our movement did this. Our movement killed Charlie, that Charlie was deserving of this.
Never said
effectively.
That.
And we've seen
effectively. I don't even
rear
know
its
what that
head.
means.
This
It's
happens
total BS.
quite regularly, actually, on MSNBC and on other networks where they're trying to victim blame. And what that does, Mr. Chairman, respectfully, is continues the lie and continues the threat level to say effectively that we have no share in this problem at all on the left. This is a clear-cut case.
Concoction
what would you like
based
to see
on
done at
nothing, what
ABC?
Benny Johnson's saying.
Well, look, I think what you said there strikes me as a very reasonable, minimal step that can be taken. I mean, obviously, look, there's calls for Kimmel to be fired. I think, you could certainly see a path forward for suspension over this. And again, the FCC is going to have remedies that we could look at. And again, we may ultimately be called to be a judge on that. But this also strikes me as sort of conduct that to some extent it shows some sort of desperate irrelevance. I mean, we're sort of exiting an era where the three main legacy broadcast networks could control and dictate the narrative to the American people. And one of the things that President Trump did when he ran for office, he ran directly at that legacy media establishment. And he smashed the facade that they get to control what we say, what we think, the narrative around events. And we're seeing a lot of consequences that are flowing from President Trump doing that. I mean, look, NPR has been defunded. PBS has been defunded. Colbert is retiring. Joy Reid is out at MSNBC. Terry Moran has gone from ABC and so now admitting that they are biased. CBS has now made some commitments to us that they're going to return to more fact-based journalism. And so I think you see some lashing out from people like Kimmel, who are frankly talentless and are looking for ways to get attention. But their grip on the narrative is slipping. That doesn't mean that it's still not important to hold in the public interest standard. That's what we're going to have to do.
So stop if you would, Albert. I mean, he gets into it, I think, a little bit further down. He talks about the fact that what could happen here is the Nexstar and Sinclair stations could stop running Jimmy Kimmel. And what happened indeed was the Sinclair stations took their cue from the FCC commissioner, it would appear anyway. And they said, we are going to drop Kimmel. We're not going to run him now. Now, Sinclair is, again, powerful group. We've talked about this on the show many times. The real power for years now has been with the station groups. So Nexstar, Sinclair, these are right-wing groups that, I mean, right-wing companies, I guess I should put it that way, that have groups of television stations across the country. And so on some level, even as they are, running ABC programming, they have underpinning them a certain political philosophy. So taking their cues from an increasingly robust effort to erase anything that they find in the least bit offensive, including making fun of the president, they take action. And in this case, the FCC commissioner, to whom you were listening, he laid it out. He said the Sinclair stations could drop this. He also, he'll throw in stuff like, talentless guy. I mean, you realize that these are all people who aren't objectively demonstrating professionalism per se. They share a very extreme view of things. And it's not a view that protects speech that they don't like. It's a view that reinforces and permits speech that they do like and gets rid of that which they don't like.
Speaking of
Sinclair
really
stations did drop it. Yeah.
I was really struck when he went through the list of all the people they've silenced. I didn't realize it had been that many. When he's like, oh, it's Terry Moran and it's this guy and it's that guy. And it's like, wow, all of these people. And for what reason?
So Sinclair Broadcasting saying the suspension of Jimmy Kimmel was insufficient. They're going to yank Jimmy Kimmel Live from their stations until Jimmy Kimmel apologizes directly to Charlie Kirk's family and donates to his political activist group.
Can I just put this up here? This is what Jimmy Kimmel posted the day of the killing. Instead of the angry finger pointing, he wrote, "Can we just for one day agree that it is horrible and monstrous to shoot another human? On behalf of my family, we send love to the Kirks and to all the children, parents, and innocents who fall victim to senseless gun violence. What is there to apologize for?"
I think Kimmel is doing his job as a late night host. He's making fun of the party in power. He did it with the Democrats too, made fun of Biden. I mean, I think that Jimmy is not a fan of Trump. That's clear. He goes after Trump a lot, and he does it in funny ways. But Trump goes after everybody, calls people ugly, calls people unprofessional, calls people weak, calls people losers. So it's just kind of extraordinary. But as I say, it wasn't for the Charlie Kirk comments that Jimmy Kimmel was silenced. It was for the comments about Donald Trump. So they have 40 stations. I mean, that's not nothing. 40 ABC local TV affiliates. It's the largest station group, Sinclair. And they say that the Kimmel comments were inappropriate. So they say they're not going to return Kimmel's show until formal discussions are held with ABC regarding the network's commitment to professionalism and accountability. Exactly, And they praise, I mean, I think it was the CEO who praised him, the vice chairman of Sinclair, praising Brendan Carr, that's the FCC chairman, and said the incident highlights the critical need for the FCC to take immediate regulatory action to address control held over local broadcasters by the big networks. ABC announcing again that production of Jimmy Kimmel's late night program has been suspended indefinitely. And the demands of Sinclair are extraordinary. They operate, Sinclair does, 178 television stations in 81 markets. And they say that their ABC affiliates, I think there are 40 of them, isn't that what I said before, will air a special in remembrance of Kirk during Kimmel's Friday time slot. So that's the reaction from Sinclair. And the Nexstar stations are also a big part of this. Again, their network The network television business depends on all of those stations distributing what the network is giving them. So the stations have a lot of power, and the networks have power as well, but it's a very difficult spot that the network finds itself in when so many affiliates say, hey, we're just not going to run that anymore. I mean, that's ad revenue, you can imagine. So when Nexstar and Sinclair together say, we're not going to run ABC's late night offering, that essentially is a fait accompli. I mean, it's done. Nexstar's owned and partner television stations affiliated with the ABC television network will preempt Jimmy Kimmel Live for the foreseeable future, they said. Nexstar strongly objects to recent comments made by Mr. Kimmel concerning the killing of Charlie Kirk, will replace the show with other programming in its ABC markets. Nexstar is the largest station group in the country, also has a major merger, and this is the second part of this story that you must know. Nexstar, the largest station group in the country, has a major merger before the Trump administration. Its proposed acquisition of Tegna, creating a mega company with 265 stations in 44 states and the Washington, D.C. area, representing 80% of U.S. households. Nexstar is also a leading champion in the broadcast industry for the FCC to relax media ownership limits. There are limits, and they're not what they used to be. I mean, there used to be really strong limits on how many stations you could own, but now those limits have been relaxed. But Nexstar wants them released even more. They want them relaxed to the point that, well, that they can acquire all of these other stations in another station group. So to get this deal through, to get regulatory approval, they have to play ball with the FCC. They have to curry favor with the existing administration. You saw it happen with Paramount, with CBS, with the cancellation of Colbert. This is the exact same thing. So when all of this talk about Charlie Kirk is going on, there is a subplot here that's powerful, and it's that we need FCC approval to get this mighty merger through. And they are going to air a tribute to Charlie Kirk on the ABC stations that they control, Nexstar, on Friday night. And as I say, both Sinclair and Nexstar have been lobbying the FCC over regulatory issues. And the idea somehow that you would take on the FCC at a time when you're trying to get cooperation from the FCC, it's not even in the conversation. They have to play ball with Brendan Carr.
You would think, though, that, and I know they say follow the money, right, in this case, what you're talking about, but that Jimmy Kimmel would be something, if you're trying to sell a station or if you're trying to attract someone to a station, he's the shining star of that network.
Yes, that's true. But when the broader network is part of a huge conglomerate, which is sort of what's happening, when you have all those stations put together, I guess that makes up something of a broadcast conglomerate.
Right.
You have bottom line concerns that can be completely derailed by the existing government. And so for that reason, you got to play ball with the government. Now, again, prior administrations may not have been as withering in their demands as this administration is. But the point is, you need to play ball. So when you talk about Kimmel as a personality, as a, let's just say, as a valuable asset, you're right. But if you look at the broader interest for other assets they're trying to acquire, for them, it's easier to play ball with the government. But the other thing I would just say is, and it happens to also be the way they think. They are a conservative media group. Yeah. So somebody who's like Jimmy Kimmel, who's probably considered a lib, they are all too anxious to play ball with the government in this case. But you're right. They have to balance that against commercial concerns they might have. So I'll just remind you also that the Walt Disney Company's involved in this. Okay, I just talked to you about Sinclair and Nexstar. Those are the two big station groups, but Walt Disney controls the network, right? And they need Trump administration green light for what? They need a green light from the Trump administration for ESPN's deal to buy the NFL network.
Oh, man.
So there are so many interests here that require government approval. And so for that reason, when the government makes a demand on you, you decide you're going to play ball. They do all the math. And for them, it's worth it. But that's the backstory on Jimmy Kimmel and his cancellation. Trump wants him canceled because he doesn't want to have Kimmel making fun of him every night on late night television. And Kimmel is popular, as Kim was saying.
Mm-hmm.
But the reason that these different entities all are okay with the cancellation and are even out in front on the cancellation is because they want government approval on any number of things. The Sinclair, the Nexstar, acquisitions, Disney's acquisition of NFL Network, along with ESPN. And you see how it is really all about the money. But what's really, but the real casualty here, let's not lose it, is free speech.
Yeah.
The casualty is free speech. So what they're basically saying is, yeah, we're ready to torch the First Amendment because we need this other stuff for our bottom line. And you understand it from a stockholder standpoint, and that, you know, there's a fiduciary responsibility to not anger the government in power if you need these things to help your bottom line. But the overwhelming fact is that the government is snuffing out free speech. It's, you know, take everything we've talked about with the money, the subplot, all of it. Even with the Trump being angry about, you know, being derided by Jimmy Kimmel every night and having fun made of him every night. Put it all to the side. Just talk about free speech in America. You know, there is in America a rich tradition of critical speech. That's how Charlie Kirk could flourish. Charlie Kirk is brilliance, bringing all of that to college campuses, inviting those with opposing views. I mean, this really is a scary place that we're in. I mean, it's just one of the scary things that's happening, but it's a significant one.
It feels like the beginning of like a dictatorship. Like all the moves that have been being made, it feels like they're trying to control what we have to know, and that's in line with all the dictators around in history. Actually, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's exactly right. What Albert's saying. And that Albert is paying attention to the show at all. It's just amazing.
It's great.
I mean,
Albert, thank you.
I just am really.
Well, my country,
you know it's serious when
well,
Albert
my
is paying
country in the
attention.
Philippines have gone through the same thing in prior in history in the 80s, and I feel like it's coming back now, even in our country. So,
yeah,
very scary.
It's scary. That's a little bit of what's going on. We'll talk to David Katz, the former federal prosecutor, the legal side of this. And there are other legal issues, obviously. Supreme Court is being asked by Donald Trump to do a number of things. We'll get to those. I want to give a quick shout out to those who are helping us today because because of the clips we've run, going to be demonetized, as I was mentioning. So many in the audience are stepping up in such big ways. Wow, Shelley Pollard. We get to keep all the super sticker and super chat money. So you guys really are making up the gap that we would normally get from, you know, ads and that sort of thing on YouTube. Big shout out to Shelley Pollard. Wow, $100 into the super chat. And Shelley, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
And I would even say,
thank you.
That's the 4 thank yous. We rarely dust them off, but thank you. I'll give you the
thank you.
Beth Farmer got you all covered today. Keep speaking truth, Mark. Thank you, Beth, and I'll give you the 4 thank you.
Thank you.
Wow, Beth, really cool. Beth, a longtime viewer and supporter of the show. Jane McCann pulling over just to make this donation that I hear you will be able to keep in respect for what you are saying about Jimmy Kimmel. Yeah, we will be able to keep it. And thank you so much, Jane, for helping to support the show today. It's definitely one of those days where it's an inflection moment. And I give you, Jane, the 4 thank yous.
Thank you.
It is 4, right? I've never really counted it.
Thank you. I think you're right.
Wes Theory, an OG with a $6 super chat, says, still on Facebook break. Just canceled Hulu and Disney app. Only way to express my disappointment in them. There are a lot of people who are canceling Disney Plus. It's kind of wild because that's right. Disney Plus is a lot of different platforms. Hulu, what else is on Disney Plus? A bunch of different.
ESPN's on there. And,
So that's a big. That's a big cancellation. Lucy McAllister, my favorite McAllister. Thank you for being my rock through these difficult times. Wow.
Big shout out.
A big shout out, Lucy. Thank you so much. Really appreciate your support and appreciate the contribution to the show. Really. Cousin Erie with a $6 super chat. It will be a miracle if Colbert makes it to June. It is weird that Colbert was first targeted to be rubbed out, right? They were getting rid of Colbert. And then Jimmy seemed like the only guy who was still cruising. And then quite suddenly this happens where Kimmel is out and Colbert continues, even though you know he's on borrowed time. Kathleen Bryant with a $20 super sticker. Big shout out. Kathleen Bryant, thank you. You're a regular on the show. We so appreciate you. And thank you so much. Yes. It really does matter, guys. Thank you so much because we are we're really appreciative today of your support since we wanted to give you context on that clip, and that's why we played you so much of it, but sadly it does lead to our demonetization. Rhonda Abrams, come on, Rhonda. Big shout out. Go for it. Say your piece. I'll chip in, she says. Right on. Thank you, Rhonda. Yeah. And Jim Slayton with a $10 super chat says, I also canceled my Paramount Plus and that's, of course, the Paramount Plus stuff is related to the Colbert cancellation. Mm-hmm. And I gave the monthly payment to the Mark Thompson show when Colbert got canceled. What? I love it. Shout out. Big shout out and thank you, Jim. Yeah. Jim, another OG of the show. How long before Trump clamps down on any show that offends his poor sensibilities? F Trump, F his ballroom. Harry Magnan says. Thank you, Harry, for the $5 super chat. You know, the clamping down on broader speech is something that we're concerned with. I mean, Albert identified it, and we've been talking about it really, and it's been an implicit threat for a long time, ever since we saw, well, I mean, it goes to the earliest parts of this administration, but you saw the clip the other day where he said, we may investigate you, Jonathan Karl, because you haven't been very nice to me. I mean, it was an extraordinary thing to hear a president say. We ran the clip here on the show. Yeah. Nullifidian says, you're one of the few voices of sanity that we have left, Mark. Well, thank you for that, Nullifidian. I'll give you a big shout out. Big shout out. Pamela Kirby, thanks, Mark. Kim Albert, taking risk for the First Amendment. I appreciate that. A $20 super chat. Wow. Thank you, Pamela. Big shout out. Really appreciate that. And Nancy Boyd with a $20 super. Thank you so much, Nancy, with an I. I love that. Big shout out. SJ Lola, San Jose. I always assume it's San Jose Lola, right?
Yeah.
$25. Happy to be able to support this show. Thank you. Big shout out to San Jose Lola. And thank you.
All the people that want free speech. Look at that. I mean.
Yeah. Humor is art. What happens to American art at this time of suppression? Yeah. Thank you. That's so true. John Doe, or John Doe, is that it? John Doe, thank you for the $5 super chat. Of course, you're right. I mean, this is the arts. Yeah. So you're very correct about the fact that, you know, shutting down an artist is shutting down speech. Amy B with a $10 super chat says they are using these opportunities as an excuse. MSNBC did the same thing with Matt Dowd and the Wall Street Journal with Karen Attiah. And look behind the curtain. This is all about a corporate merger for oligarchs. Well, this is a truly jetliner view of things. What's really happening is what's Amy is talking about. And that relates to, and I don't want to get in too deep with this today, but we will in the days ahead. But there really is a huge oligarchical component to this. You're seeing these mergers. I just mentioned the Sinclair Nexstar, then the merger that Nexstar wants with this other immense television station group. You're seeing major acquisitions through the tech billionaires who accompanied Trump on his trip to Great Britain. I mean, why did you bring all these tech billionaires? And there's a deal being made so that American tech billionaires are now going to have a big piece of a lot of the deal that's being made with Great Britain. So there are ways in which there are so many in the community of oligarchs who we occasionally get a look at together. For example, if there is the dinner with the tech bros, or there is any number of public events at which you see sort of in the orbit of the president, all of these people who have control of so much. I include people in the administration. I mean, Witkoff himself is something of an oligarch, right? He's a huge real estate empire builder, and he now handles all of the diplomacy for Middle East, for Europe, NATO, etc. And Witkoff is at the center of a lot of this too. So I think you're right to point to the oligarchs and the fact that it's really going to be open season on the plundering of so many resources and so many economic opportunities. Jim Slayton with a $10 super chat. I also deleted all my social media accounts to leave no footprints for the regime to go after me. My accounts are in suspended animation until the First Amendment returns.
A lot of people are
doing that.
scared. Yeah, or
A lot of
going
people are
back
doing
and
that.
deleting posts that they've made, as if we should have to clean up our free speech, and yet people are frightened.
It's super un-American. It's super un-American. We shouldn't have to. Now, you know, speaking of that, thank you, Jim Eaton. Love the Mark Thompson Show. Love you back, Jim. Big shout out. Thank you, sir. Ms. Organic with a $10 super sticker. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Love Ms. Organic. Yeah. And Richard Delamater, who is the Hunter S. Thompson of the show, loves his various mind-altering substances. Let us eat cake. Yeah, it does feel that way, doesn't it? Thank you for the $2 super chat. The orange curtain has fallen, says Rev P with a $5 super chat. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's scary. This one's for Jimmy. Quill Classic says with a $20 super chat. Thank you, Quill.
Big shout out.
Yeah, big shout out to you. Thank you, everybody, for all the support. Candace Worthman, who's an OG of the show, a $50 super sticker.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Oh, beautiful.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Candace. Wow. Very cool. Cranky Charcoal, $9.99, 10 euros. Well, thank you, Cranky. I was going to send the chat to I was going to send chat to celebrate a certain person's exit from the UK. Wow. Also, hope this helps with the demonetization. Thank you with the 10 euros and the 10.
Big shout out.
I think those are actually 10 British sterling, right?
Yeah, he's over in the UK. Yeah.
10 pounds, is that what it is? Yeah, that's where we're going with it. Well, I should give you the thank you, says.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
So much. is what I was
Thank you
thinking.
so much.
Thank you from one Brit to another. Demonetized tip jar, says Sal the Shoemaker. Thank you.
Big shout out.
Thank you for the
Sal
10
the
spot.
Shoemaker.
Yeah.
Do we have that old drum?
Yeah, where is
Sal
Sal the Shoemaker? We had
Joey Two Eyes. Like, what
yeah.
else is there?
Let me see if I can find
Little
it
Tony.
real quick. Yeah.
That's so good.
Oh my God.
Oh, you guys, I'm overwhelmed by all the support today, but that's awesome. Sal the
Yeah.
Shoemaker. Tony, is it Tony Box? What is it?
Yeah, no, a Joe Box.
Joe Box, that's right.
Joe. Oh.
Joe Box and Little Anthony.
A little, yeah, and Sal the Shoemaker was
Joe Fish, Sal the Shoemaker,
Yeah.
Joe Box and Little Anthony.
That's it, right? There they are. There all they are. Keep up the good work, Mark and Kim, all your excellent crew and guests. Vivian Elshawa, she's an OG of the show. Thank you for the $10 super chat. Yeah.
Joe Fish, Sal the Shoemaker, Joe Box and Little Anthony.
Yeah, big
shout out.
Big shout out to Vivian. Thank you, Viv. The Mark 51627 with an $8.10 super chat, kind of a tip of the hat to our old radio station, KGO, which was 810. Y'all, thank you.
Big shout out.
Shout out. Wow. Jacqueline Buckley. Wow, it's feeling like a telethon around here.
I know.
I need a quick cup of a little sip of Coachella Valley coffee.
This is all the people that want to hear the voices of dissent. That's what this is.
Yeah. Jacqueline Buckley, how about a $10 super chat? Wow, super sticker, I should say. Thank you very much. Didn't even bother with the chat. Just here's the money, go do it.
Shout out.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jacqueline Buckley. Very cool. Really appreciate it. The Tash with a $5
Big
super
shout
sticker.
out.
Yeah, big shout out. Cousin Erie, the bottom line is satirical and alternative speech will have to find alternative routes. Yeah. I mean, this is a serious time in this country where a fundamental freedom is being snatched away from us. It's scary. I'm not going to lie to you. Dell and Bob with a $50 super sticker. Wow. I'm going to give him the...
Thank you.
The 4 thank yous. Thank you, Dell and Bob. Really do appreciate that. And a Carrie with a $20 super sticker. Wow.
Big
Thank you,
shout
guys. Really appreciate it. Mark and Kim, you inform us, often depress us. We appreciate you incredibly, says Karen Cooper. Wow, she's an OG
Karen.
also. Thank you.
Yeah.
$50 super chat.
Thank you.
Really, really cool. Thank you so much. And here's to free speech, says Denise I with a $25 donation to the show with a $25 super chat. Wow.
That's
Terrific.
A toast.
Thank you,
I feel
guys.
like we should be, cheersing to that on the day of its demise.
Yeah, it's a weird thing that, right, but she's right. I mean, and just on this, and I'm going to get to gone fishing in a minute. I'll just, what is that? Is that what is gone fishing saying, Kim? You're good with the,
It says Mahal Kita, but what does it mean, Albert? Do we know?
That is Tagalog for "I love you." So.
Oh, I love it! Come on.
Mahal
Thank you so
Kita to
much.
you. That's
Gone
so nice.
fishing. Mahal Kita, is that how you say it, Albert?
Yeah, Mahal Kita. Very good.
Mahal Kita. Wow.
What kind of a cool show is this that we have our own translator right here?
We're so sophisticated. I really like it.
Really, it's true.
Thank you, Gone Fishing. I wanted to just show you. Hold on a second before you, Lala. I wanted to, Albert, show them though the Brendan Carr tweet. That was the amazing thing. This guy, Brendan Carr, he's head of the FCC. He's the guy who championed the cancellation of Jimmy Kimmel. He laid out the way in which Kimmel could be canceled by the Sinclair stations, saying that they would no longer carry Jimmy Kimmel. Brendan Carr had this to say when President Biden was president. President Biden is right. Political satire is one of the oldest and most important forms of free speech. It challenges those in power while using humor to draw more people into the discussion. That's why people in influential positions have always targeted it for censorship. That's Brendan Carr saying that, the very guy who was the prime mover behind the censoring of Jimmy Kimmel. It's crazy. It really is crazy. It speaks to how absurd this situation is. I mean, you may not think Jimmy Kimmel's funny. You may not like the humor. You may be offended by it because you like Donald Trump. And if you're Donald Trump, you may be really angered by it because you are Donald Trump. But his right to go on and do it cannot be assailed. It cannot be removed.
Yeah.
And yet it has been. Hi, it's Mark, and I thought that was great. Hit the notification bell. You'll know whenever there's a new video being dropped, and please subscribe to our channel to help us save the universe.